Captain America, I realized that my review of that movie might not have accurately represented how god-awful that movie was. Besides, during a movie review, all the good parts are shown and the action scenes summarized. And, well, the bad parts of the movie are also shown. So, that leaves us with a movie with barely anything in it, and the rest is just 80 minutes of nothing happening on screen that you didn't see. And I'm sure you're all grateful for that. But the point is, even though something was happening on screen, nothing was happening at the same time. I really was showing you the good parts, like the one fight scene in the entire movie where a guy gets hit with a pig. Maybe 2 guns are fired in this. There's more driving scenes than in Manos the Hands of Fate. And the rest of the movie is just watching Reb Brown give the most to-date, low-key performance in his entire career as he talks to scientists and whines about how he has no control over his life. Let me put it to you this way. Puma Man, an Italian superhero movie, is 10 times the movie Captain America is, at least. And I'm being serious. Puma Man is a far superior film. Just look at it for a second. It has lots of action scenes. It's not great, but it's fighting. The music is surprisingly catchy. A little crappy, but catchy. And the main hero actually has superpowers. Okay, so flying around and teleporting has nothing to do with being a puma, but hell, look at this. He's using superpowers. He's tearing a car up and flipping it over with super strength. That's cool. And it even has a memorable villain in the form of Donald Pleasance, who, even in crappy movies, does a pretty good job. Now, don't get me wrong, the special effects were terrible, the mythology was ridiculous, and the hero of Puma Man was a whiny little bitch too. But, at the end of the day, it was about a superhero flying around, fighting crime. Something Captain America didn't do until the 74-minute mark. So, naturally, with a movie that boring, they made a sequel. Captain America 2, Death Too Soon. Oh no. Oh no. I can't believe this. They used the same opening sequence from the first movie. How did they get away with this? Even the box art looks identical. They even show him driving the same panel van with the same motorcycle attached to it, despite them being destroyed in the first movie. I just like how both movies open with mellow travel montage music. Yeah, screw those James Bond intros that open with heart-pounding action scenes and an awesome music score to back it up. I want my superhero movies to open with Captain America driving through scenic California in his panel van with his radio tuned to the mellow sounds of the 70s. Okay, they're on a budget, and you can forgive them for recycling the intro. But the good news is that they got rid of all that crappy origin story from the first film, and they have no excuse, so they could jump straight into the crime-fighting action. Ahem, I said crime-fighting action. Anyway, we find Steve Rogers in his secret identity as, and I'm not kidding, a mild-mannered park painter. While making a pencil sketch of an old lady, he learns that the senior citizens of the neighborhood are being assaulted and mugged repeatedly by a street gang every time they go cash their pension checks.
All my friends are scared to leave their homes, even to go shopping.
Have you cashed your pension check this month, Mrs. Young?
Not yet.
Do me a favor. Go cash it, okay?
Okay.
That's good, Steve. Use the kindly old lady as bait for dangerous criminals. I'm sure Peter Parker would understand you putting Aunt May in harm's way. Anyway, the mugger grabs her purse, so Cap snaps into action, launching out on his rocket-powered motorcycle. He grabs the purse back, but the mugger threatens him with a knife. Cap finally decides to employ his shield, and... Okay, let's start from the top. Captain America throws his shield and completely misses, which has one of 2 explanations. Either he missed by accident or missed by purpose. And yet, both scenarios rely heavily on Captain America being incredibly lucky that the thug just stands in the same spot for the 20 seconds it took for the shield to loop back around very slowly and hit him in the back. Why didn't he just run up to him and stab him? Cap misses, looks like a dumbass, and is wide open to attack. But what's funny about this scene is when the shield hits him, bouncing harmlessly off his back and making the same exact sound you expect it to make. That of a plastic bubble lightly tapping against your shoulder. But even so, the guy sells the shot as if he got nailed in the spine by Thor's hammer. Well, the wheelman drives off in this rather geeky looking car, so Captain America dashes after him, leaving behind his rocket-powered motorcycle. Yes, he'll chase down a purse snatcher with it, but a guy speeding away in a car, he pursues on foot. You really have to admire the special effects employed to depict Captain America's super speed by speeding up the footage.
The old people around here are my friends.
Steve is called to the lab when it's discovered that the world's most famous microbiologist and immunologist has been kidnapped, to which our hero declares,
Well, it sounds like it's a case for the FBI.
"This looks like a job for the proper authorities." He's been kidnapped by the notorious international terrorist General Miguel, played by the late Christopher Lee. One has to wonder the casting decision here. Then again, the guy has pretty much portrayed every nationality on film, such as a Transylvanian, a Russian, a Pakistani, a wizard, a Sith Lord, and of course, Fu Manchu. Miguel's got the scientists working on some sort of super deadly virus thingy in a lab. His secret base is located inside a prison where he's masquerading as the warden, whom he's quietly murdered and replaced, and he's very proud of this plan.
Who in the world would think of looking for the famous terrorist Miguel inside an American penitentiary?
Well, I guess you can't find fault in that, except that prisons aren't well known for their world-class biology lab and their notoriously stupid staff who can't tell the difference between their own warden and an infamous terrorist. Maybe all the inmates and guards are distracted, somehow. Enough to keep up the charade. Miguel is developing a super weapon and sends his demands to the president. He says he'll release the chemical into a major city unless the government pays him the sum of
1 billion, gajillion, fifillion, shabadoodle.
That's it? $1 billion, no quid pro quo?
Or he'll spread a chemical through a major American city, a chemical that will cause rapid aging. His claim is that everyone within range will age at the rate of 38 days per hour.
And I think he means it too. Unlike Mr. Brackett, Miguel might just be a mad dog killer. Steve decides to go to the docks to track down a rare chemical that the doctor would need to synthesize the drug being smuggled in from Ecuador. Unfortunately, there's no Captain Ecuador. Cap storms into the warehouse confronting a militant group of dock workers. This is the song written for the fight scene. Cap's got to find Christopher Lee. They try to kill him with a forklift. Aw, that was dumb. Why in the hell did I try that? Wow, things actually happen! So the movie decides to pull the drag chute for about 20 minutes as Steve tries to find out where the chemicals are being unloaded, somewhere in the town of Belleville. He decides to go undercover as a wandering cat painter who makes creepy passes at little boys and asks awkward, suspicious questions.
You show me some of those terrific trails, Peter. I sure would like to go riding with you. Well, I'm looking for a house, sort of off the beaten track.
Like what?
Oh, abandoned farm, old mining area. A place a guy can go and get away from it all.
Sure, I love hanging out in an abandoned farm, and there's nothing more relaxing than painting in an unlit mine. As you might guess, the chunkhead blows his cover almost immediately.
He's no wandering artist, Stater. He's too intelligent and too inquisitive for that.
Artists are stupid, worthy only of contempt.
Now you listen to me. Under no circumstances is this Mr. Rogers to leave that town.
I want you to turn Mr. Rogers' neighborhood into his tomb. Permanently. So Miguel has Steve arrested by the police on phony assault charges. Stupidly, Steve tells the cops his real name, just before bending the bars and escaping his cell before Miguel's men kill him. When they go outside, they see Captain America speeding away, and none of them seem to make the connection.
I can't understand this.
Duh! I wonder if the sudden appearance of Captain America has any connection with the absurdly strong, muscle-bound giant named Steve Rogers, who bented the steel bars and escaped.
Captain America just broke Rogers out of jail. He's headed north on 401.
You just saw him drove past you on his motorcycle. You can't possibly be this stupid, can you? And thus begins a chase scene where Captain America bravely flees away from the bad guys. I just don't get this. He's got a bulletproof shield, super strength, and speed, and he can't take on 5 hicks in a Jeep? Well, more bad guys show up and form a blockade on a dam, so he kicks on the rocket boosters, jumps the blockade, and accidentally drops down on the side of the dam. That can't have been on purpose, can it? Did Captain America intentionally steer right off the dam? Why would he do that if he was capable of jumping the blockade, hitting the other side of the road, and kept going? Man, this Captain America sucks. Moving on, the president decides he won't pay the money because the United States does not negotiate with terrorists. So Miguel sends his henchman, who also happens to be a talented pilot, to fly over Portland, Oregon, and write the word SMILE in the sky with the poisonous gas. Sounds like something the Joker would do if he couldn't afford the parade floats and giant balloons. The best part about this scene is that you can hear the crowd trying to decipher and sound out phonetically the clearly written word in the sky. Meanwhile, Steve manages to locate Miguel's home base. Launching himself into the prison, blowing past the guards, he storms the administration building looking for Miguel. So he tells his right-hand man to dose some guard dogs with the rapid agent drug to help cover his escape. For some reason.
You go to the lab and you get the professor to give the biggest dogs an overdose of the aging compound, and then you let them loose in the corridor.
No, Wilson won't do that.
Well, then you do it. Use the spray a little bit faster and make sure it is a triple dose.
Dosed him heavily. I want them old, arthritic, and useless when they attack Captain America. And believe it or not, this plan works, defeating Captain America and forcing him to retreat. Why are there guards shooting at Captain America? Isn't he a national symbol of freedom and heroism? I gotta say, there's not a whole lot of tension in this scene. After all, how can the guards possibly hope to match his power of sliding down a handrail? Well, he manages to escape by throwing his motorcycle on the top of the prison walls. Yeah, well, it also helps that there is no such thing as momentum or physics involved. Oh, come on! Seriously, how often does Captain America expect to drive his motorcycle off a fucking cliff? And why didn't he use his glider when he fell off the fucking dam? Man, this is stupid. Oh, the tension in this chase scene. Will his super motorcycle catch up to Miguel's 4-door station wagon? Miguel eventually decides to book it on foot with Captain America behind. Oh, Jesus. You know, he never really got the hang of throwing that dang shield, did he?
Hold it. You didn't expect to fool an old jungle fighter with a boomerang trick like that, did you?
You didn't think that an Avenger could tango with the dark side of the Force.
It's a shame, really, because in any other circumstances, we might have been friends.
You and I are not so different. Actually, everything about us is different. Forget what I said. Oh, shit. Hold on, let me get into my briefcase. Don't move now. I didn't move when you threw that shield at me. Okay, here we go. Oldest trick in the book. Well, even though he got splashed with the aging drug, he still manages to take Cap down and choke him out. Tough bastard, I have to say. Alas, he dies from rapid aging, saving Captain America the embarrassment of being choked out by Count Dooku. And with the antidote secured, both Steve and Dr. Mills rush over to Portland to spray it over a city gripped in terror, fearful of their coming deaths, and, proceeding in an uncaring fashion, as if nothing happened. You know, after watching these films, I feel cheated. These movies are terrible. I can't believe I wasted this much time on these boring-ass movies. You know, despite criticizing Bruno Mattei in my past reviews, yeah, he ripped off action movies, he's pretty shameless about it, but you know what? At least he had balls. He made the most of what he had, and he had Reb Brown. And god damn it, he yells and shoots at things. I figure if anyone got the concept of yelling, shooting, and blowing shit up, it would be Hollywood. That's why Michael Bay exists. And again, I have to mention this, Puma Man is a far better film. Oh man. Bruno, Italy, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. These movies are vacuous pieces of shit. These movies make me ashamed to be an American.
Stop right there, scumbag.
Oh, fuck. Bandit Keith.
You dare take the name of the USA in shame? I oughta kick your ass.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you, talking smack about Captain America, a symbol of freedom.
Oh, no, I was talking about these Captain America movies, and trust me, they suck.
Really?
Yes, really. If you saw these two movies, you would be shocked at how bad they are. You would think these movies were an insult to Captain America and America itself. Hell, I would prefer the 1990s version over these two.
Well, I should probably check these films out before casting judgment. Holy shit, these two films were bad. It really did insult Captain America.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. Now, get the hell out of my room.
Okay, geez. All you had to do was ask nicely, you jerk.